And next question comes from Mike B. Would you be able to tell us exactly what happened when you guys had to reboot the comic and why John Gray said that you needed to fight to keep the freedom fighters in the new continuity?
Uh, I don't know how many specifics I can get into because, you know, here's something that folks don't seem to understand. I think we're going to be coming back to that with later questions. Is there is private talk between businesses that remains private because it's business talk, and we don't really let it out because it becomes huge talking points online, and it just becomes a headache. Uh, with the reboot, there were a lot of circumstances, and my ultimate goal was to keep the feel of the old style of stories while doing something that was more faithful to the games. Because ultimately, that's where I was taking the book anyway,
Right.
and this was just the fast forward button. The issue with the Freedom Fighters is that they are from an old, defunct spin-off from the franchise. They're not really considered high-value properties, I guess, in terms of the overall franchise. Because as much as you may love Sad I Am, it doesn't really reflect what Sonic is. Not now, and not for a while.
Right.
So Sega wants anything representing their product to be clearly representative of that product. Having stuff that diverges from that is not good. That said, they have given us an extremely large amount of creative license with this series, even post-reboot. So we've done what we could to keep the Freedom Fighters relevant and in theme. They are kind of contractually allowed to maintain their presence in the book because they were grandfathered in, because the original contracts were based off of the old Geek cartoons.
Right.
But at any given point, because it is Sega's property, they could say, you know what, we don't want them anymore. Give them the boot. And I would have to, because that's just the way it is. But at the same time, as long as they are not, I guess, overshadowing the main property, if they're more of a supportive element, nobody seems to mind.
Yeah.
That could change tomorrow and then be reversed the next day. Comics are not a straightforward business, folks. You think it's just let's make comics. It's not. It really isn't.
Especially when you're not doing creator-owned stuff where, you know, you can have the license. The licensor could do anything they want at any time. It's a bit of a touch and go thing.
The problem with creator-owned stuff is, you know, with a licensor, you have pretty clear guidelines.
Sure.
And with an established publisher, you have a dedicated team, you have distribution, you have a marketing team. There's an indie book I'm working on right now, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, that has gone through 3 rewrites at this point because I keep second-guessing myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to make sure everything's right before we get going because I don't want to have to go back and revise everything as it's going on. But at the same time, I wanted this book out like last year, and it hasn't because I keep revising and fine-tuning, like, no, that's no good. Let's try it again. It's like, okay, no, we need to get this done. We need to get this out. Otherwise, it's never going to go out. So maybe by the end of the year, we'll see.
I hope so.